who better to talk about the Spring Statement and where we are financially, because the Spring Statement is all about reviewing where we are post-budget. The great founder of Money Magpie, Jasmine Birtles. She is the Chancellor that was going to create growth, growth.
Yeah.
You're the expert. It's not happened.
No, it really
the opposite.
hasn't. The opposite has happened. And as we've been hearing already today, people are leaving. Business people are leaving. People with money are leaving. People who are paying tax money, they're leaving. They've left already. They are leaving this year. I know people who are on, they're not even on 100 grand, because they've sort of gone on way more than that. And they're looking at Cyprus, Spain, Dubai, of course, to leave to. And they're going to take their tax money with them. And that's the problem, because 1% of the country pays 30% of the tax, the really high earners. And when they go, it's for the rest of us to fill the gap.
And it's not just the high earners that I worry about. Well, clearly I don't lie away. We're particularly worrying about the very high earners, let's be honest. But it's the middle earners that will get squashed in the event of the super rich leaving, because they will have to get tax from all of us.
Yeah, exactly. That is the problem. And not only that, but not all, but many of these people are creating jobs. Yeah. They're creating businesses. And if they go, and I totally understand it, why wouldn't you go to Dubai, where you don't pretty much pay any sort of tax? Cyprus, hardly any tax, And even places like Italy and Spain, they're saying, come to us, but you don't have to pay tax for it, or you won't have to pay much tax for the first 2 years, etc. You'll set your business up there. Why wouldn't you? Yeah. And so we have to think in those terms. How can we help the country grow? Not, they're rich, they should just pay through the nose. They're not going to. Who would?
And there's even been talk that she's going to fiddle around with ISAs, where people can invest up to £20,000 a year, tax-free, because she doesn't want them doing that, because she wants them spending the money.
Well, that's true. There's also that she's wanting them to put money into stocks and shares ISAs. And I have to say, this is one area where I agree, possibly the only area, actually, where I agree with Rachel Reeves, that we need to encourage people to put money into stocks and shares ISAs, or IF ISAs, in innovative, it's hard to say, innovative finance ISAs, which do much better than cash ISAs. But the majority of investors, ISA holders, put their money in cash because they don't understand the stock market. So I totally understand, this is why we need to enable people to put money into cash ISAs, even though I personally have never done it. I've never opened a cash ISA. I've always put my money in shares or IF ISAs. But I do understand that a lot of people don't know about stocks and shares. They're afraid. They don't know where to start. That's why, on my website, Money Magpie, we do lots about this. But still, you've got the whole country that doesn't really know how to do it. So we should be encouraging people to save in ISA, just to save. They need to.
And of course, the tax rises from the budget, Jasmine, don't kick in till next month.
Yeah.
And yet we've already had this impact on inflation, unemployment, and the outward flow of people leaving the country.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm getting messages on my Instagram from people who are saying they're already seeing problems. I mean, the council tax rising by huge amounts, really. Gas and electricity rising by huge amounts. Water bills. People are very worried. People who are just about managing now are genuinely thinking they're not going to manage next month going forward. So it's this sort of Damocles that's over our heads at the moment.
This inflation falling to 2.8% today. How much credit do you think Rachel Reeves can take for that?
Well, I don't honestly think she can take a lot, other than the fact that if people don't have the money to spend, if they are being fleeced, then they won't spend, and that in itself should bring down inflation. So if we are poorer and poorer, we're not going to spend money. And so that will bring down inflation for a bad reason, if you like. So in that sense, you could say that, it's her fault.